So, up here at the Barnstead property, we have a air quote post and beam barn. We use it as a garage, we use it as storage, etc. I noticed this past year that the paint was mainly missing from the bottom and it was starting to rot. And rather than allow it to continue to do so, I figured, oh, I'll paint it. And as you may know, that requires a little bit more work. I will show you what it should look like on the lean-to over here. So basically it's rough cut boards of varying sizes. Probably was cut down at the mill that used to be down the road. That's no longer there. But you can see how this side is far more degraded. And I'm sorry if I don't have my gimbal on me. This is kind of a spur of the moment type thing. This side particularly got it because of the shade from the trees, the rain, probably actually also the water that comes off of this roof right here. So I've gone through and I've started to pound, the nails down that stick out. Kind of sanded down, gave it one little quick, with a sander. And some of these lats, which I guarantee my grandfather, actually I know my grandfather made, William Dietrich. He made these, and you can see what it looks like. So these pine boards are nailed together, and then they're covered with the lats to protect this gap here. So there's been some water intrusion, which causes, certain insects to want to burrow and eat the wood. So we're going to fix that with some excellent paint. But in the meantime, I've decided, well, I got to remove either the whole slat and replace it, or a part of the slat. I'll have to do a seal of some sort. And since lumber prices are down, I figured for now we will just remove a part of it, seal it, and put it on. I found this extra piece. This is going to be my standard unit of measurement, I've decided, so that all the pieces that I need to cut are either 1, 2, 3 of these, so on and so forth. Looks about 3 inches. So my grandfather has since passed away. I am kind of, in the charge of upkeeping or doing the work that my mom will allow me to do to the property. And I was lucky enough to find that my grandfather had pre-ripped, you could see there's some leftover boards up here, keeping dry. My grandfather had pre-ripped a few pieces of the lats. And basically what he had done is taken the is that a 1? A 3/4 by whatever size board, measured it out 3 inches, 2 inches, and just ripped the board. I had set it aside to flatten it, and now I can't find it. My mother may have moved it on me. Possibly. So I do have spare ones that are already cut, but only 2 full lats of these. So I figure, here's one. This is a whole lat, but they're actually connected on the other end. So he would just rip it up and stop right before the end of the board. So I'm going through and I'm finding that it's easiest to leave the board remaining on, securing it from the top down, just like anything else. Things like this happen over time. I'll try to tack that up, but I think I'll just leave it the way it is. Basically, the best way to tell how far the wood is damaged is you can hit it with a hammer. Well, as I've been doing this all along down here. So the end is kind of chewed up. I'm like, well, how do I leave it on and cut it? I could get out a Dremel. I do not like using saws by hand. I get really nervous about that, although that would probably be fairly easy. There might even be some nails directly into there. But I found this awesome tool in the barn with a lot of other tools from Milwaukee, and I'm just not even precisely cutting it perpendicular, and I'll cut most of the way through, You can see I'm moving because I'm sawing. And then the rest of it, if I can grab it, will likely come off. I say likely. I don't mind digging a little bit closer to where the nails are. So you can see the nails that hold the base layer are there. The edges that are a little rotted from the moisture, let me get a better shot for you. Probably should remain in the same perspective the whole time. Are, you know, jagged on the ends. So I found that they look a little bit better if I just take this sanding block and give them a little touch up. I've also noticed when pulling apart the pieces here that there definitely are, I would say, carpenter ants in here. I would like to spray it either before, I want to say after I paint it, but before I put the next layer of lats back on. At the very least, my goal is to paint it to initiate the protection phase so it doesn't degrade further. I would love to hear your comments, suggestions, replies. I am likely never going to put vinyl on this building. We're going to go with never on that one. You can see the house is similar, and I do need to do some painting on that as well, but this was the most degraded piece. The fascia boards up here at the top, you could see have some rot going on from also the moisture and insects as well as shade, and the roof could clearly use to be cleaned off. We have a roof rake which may help, and luckily that board ends there, so there are some rough cut ones in there. I could probably just take that off and replace it. We'll see. Luckily he did build in a decent overhang here on each side, on all of the buildings actually, and they all match, maybe not in depth, but up at the top there it does actually protrude from the side of the house about, I don't know, 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet, and it slowly becomes less and less. So luckily he has designed it so that, genius that he is, so that the siding up near the top stays in fairly good shape. Thank you, Pa. But can't really do that with the bottom so much, but it is a lot easier to paint these that go vertically rather than the ones that go horizontally. I have a mind to possibly get a house, like a Wagner or something of that sort. If you have any suggestions regarding that, please let me know. You're more than welcome to suggest to cut tree limbs. However, the current property owner is she's very, yeah, it's very hard. I have to sneak it. So that's what I'm working on right now. And I'll show you a little bit step by step so you can see how it comes along. I take a lot of pride in this property because my grandfather built everything from the ground up, with the exception of the chimney on the house. So yeah, this is going to be my future, caring for this property. So any of you guys local to Barnstead, if you have similar siding, if you have any tricks, tips, maybe I could spray it with wood protector every few years after I paint it so I don't have to paint it every so often. What I am going to use, which I got from one of the coupons, sometimes I share them online, is the Woodscapes Ultra Deep Base. However, very particular. I had it tinted and it was a bit off. Lighter than it should be. Lighter than the house is, lighter than the siding is here. So my mother said, okay, if you want to use it on the back of the barn. Perfect, because that's what needs it the most.